Hello and welcome everyone to Southern New Hampshire University's Career Day of 2024. This is our free virtual conference. It's open to students, alumni, faculty, and staff from anywhere around the globe. We are thrilled to have such a diverse audience with us today. My name is Lisa Sinelli, and I will be your host for this session. At SNHU, creating an inclusive and accessible learning environment is a priority. Your experience is crucial, and if you require accommodations, please reach out to the respective centers. For our online students, please contact the OAC at oac@snhu.edu or by calling 866 305 9430. If you are a campus student, please outreach by emailing cac@snhu.edu or by calling 603-644-3118. For our SNHU staff and faculty, please outreach by emailing hr@snhu.edu. And with that, we've covered the essentials for a smooth and engaging conference experience. Thank you for joining us for Mindfulness in the Workplace. Get ready to be inspired, learn, and connect. Now let's learn a bit more about our presenter to get started. All right, it is my pleasure to introduce my colleague and my dear friend, Tori Chartrand. Tori has been a part of the SNHU Career Team for 7 years, advising students in various academic programs. She is also a yoga and mindfulness instructor, an exceptional one, by the way, and has been teaching yoga and mindfulness practices for over 8 years. She truly enjoys bringing her perspective of learning how to manage stress and being a mindful human into her day-to-day while working with her students and colleagues. So without further ado, I'll pass the microphone over to Tori.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Lisa, and welcome everyone. I'm so happy to be here with you. I'm going to give you an opportunity to just pause the presentation so you can grab a piece of paper and pen or a journal, because we are going to do a little practice later. And I do think there is some power in writing things down. So if you wouldn't mind doing that or using your electronics, that's what I recommend. Awesome. So mindfulness in our day-to-day in the workplace. So when I think of mindfulness, I think of ways to become more aware, right? And if you're coming to this presentation, you're like, I don't even know what mindfulness is. I'm not really sure. That's okay, right? That's why you're here. And it can mean something different for every single one of us, right? So when you think of mindfulness, what are those words or a word that comes to mind? Right? It could be anything, it could be a little saying, a little mantra, and just jot that down, right? Maybe you look at it throughout the presentation to remind you, and then you can come back to that and you can write down more things that you learned, or maybe there are other ways that mindfulness comes to mind for you. So when I think of mindfulness, to add on to this, is how I always ask myself, how can I show up more for myself today? Right? I like to wake up in the morning and just ask myself that. How can I show up more for others? Right? And I'm sure you're thinking to yourself, well, what can mindfulness even do for me? So let's dive in. So what is mindfulness anyway? So one of the definitions that I love is that it is rooted in Eastern Buddhist philosophies. Mindfulness is essentially a mental state achieved by focusing on one's awareness, there's that word again, on the present moment while calmly acknowledging and accepting one's feelings, thoughts, and bodily sensations. So if you're sitting here and you're saying, okay, well, all that sounds great, right? But mindfulness can do what? It can boost creativity, right? And if we think about that in our workplace, we all want to be a little bit more creative, right? And share what we know and share our ideas. Mindfulness can help to fulfill career goals and aspirations. It can boost our confidence, right? If we're boosting our confidence in ourselves, we can help boost the confidence for other people, within our team, with other colleagues. Mindfulness can help us stay in the present moment, right? That's so important when we think of being mindful in the workplace, because how often are you just jumping to the next email, jumping into the next meeting, right? Thinking of what's ahead, or maybe being a little anxious or worried about what has already happened, but not quite standing or sitting in what's happening in the now. It can reduce stress, right? And I don't know about you, but anything that can help reduce stress, I'm interested in. Mindfulness can help us easier to absorb new information, right? So if we're sitting in a meeting where, you know, we're just wondering what's going on, what kind of information is happening, right? If we're not in the present moment, we're not able to absorb that information, right? So that's what it can do. It can help us be more adaptable in situations and environments, whether it's at home or in the workplace. It can increase our problem solving skills. And I don't care what job you're in, what industry you work in, but the more you can increase your problem solving skills, the more that you will be able to grow within your career, no matter where you are. It can also increase empathy for others, right? This one is huge. Empathy is one of my favorite words, and it is, the definition of it just has expanded for me since learning mindfulness and teaching mindfulness and just really being able to be there for others, right? And so being able to understand other people's situations and helping them out and just being that support for them, support for you, support for them, it's huge, right? And this shows up in the workplace all the time because guess what? We're humans, right? Humans work with humans. So empathy is so important. Vitality, right? We all want more vitality. So mindfulness can help us with all of these things that you see right here. So let's dive into mindfulness in the workplace a little bit more, right? So how can mindfulness help me throughout my job search as well? So within in the workplace, which we'll talk about first, we've gone over some a little bit already, but it can help us make better decisions, right? If we are in the present moment, if we are more aware of what's happening, then we are going to be able to have those, be able to make better decisions and have thoughts that are going to be, more present, right? That we say, hey, I think that we should do this and not worry about this right now, not worry about what happened before, right? So we can have those conversations and we can figure out how to problem solve and do what's best for the company or the team, whatever it is. Mindfulness can also help us deal with challenges easier, right? And wherever you're at in your career, I'm sure that you have dealt with a challenge here and there, and you're going to continue to deal with challenges, right? So instead of reacting within challenges, which happens a lot, right? Our emotions, we get triggered, different things happen, and we want to react. Well, imagine if we just took a deep breath instead, right? And we were able to just be a little bit more aware of how we were feeling, and then say, okay, how can I improve this situation instead of make it worse, right? And that's where mindfulness comes in. It can also help us have a more open and positive mindset, right? And when we are working with other people within a team, with our supervisors, whoever it is always super helpful to have an open and positive mindset because other people are going to be sharing ideas. Other people are going to be offering criticism or feedback, right? And sometimes that's hard to hear and hard to deal with. But if we are a little bit more open to it, a little more accepting, we have that positive energy kind of rolling around, then all is well, right? Now, the job search, right? So this is something that I work with my students day in and day out, right? Searching for a job can be hard. Searching for a job can be tedious. It can be frustrating. It can create so much stress, right? And wherever you're at in your job search, if you are frustrated, if you are letting stress take over that process, it will most likely come through in your application process, some way, somehow, whether it's how you write your cover letter, or how you leave a voicemail to an employer, or how you're coming across in an interview, right? Without you even knowing, right? It could come across some way. So when we can just take a step back and reflect again on how we feel, right? When we can say, okay, you know what? This job search is stressing me out a little bit. I'm spending countless hours on looking for jobs, applying for jobs, writing resumes. I can't even keep my head above water, right? That's the first step, right? Just reflecting on how you feel is a huge step. So then you can say, okay, well, how can I move forward from here? Right? How can I make it better? Right. And there are so many different ways, and we're going to go into some later on in the presentation as far as different ways to practice mindfulness and self-care. But one of the strategies I offer my students is a 3-day strategy when it comes to the application process and going through it. So first and foremost, if you are feeling stress in this process, can you take some time off, right? And that time off can look however it needs to for you. It could be a day, it could be a week, it could be 2 weeks, right? Everyone's in a different situation. But take some time to come back to you, to just become more in tune with yourself. Do things that bring you joy, right? Go hang out with friends, family, go to the beach, go for a run, go hike up a mountain, whatever it is that you like to do that you probably haven't been giving yourself enough time to do throughout this process, right? Can you do it now, right? To refresh your mind, come back to the computer, or come back to the phone, your applications, and say, oh, okay, I feel a little bit better. I have this positive energy running through me. I have more confidence. Let's do this, right? And then going even further, you have this 3-day strategy, right? You break up the application, right? One day where maybe you're just doing some research and finding jobs you want to apply to. Maybe another day where you are tailoring resumes and cover letters, hitting the submit button. And then one day where you are focusing solely on networking and following up to employers, right? And that's just one strategy that I offer to my students that works out pretty well. But none of this can happen if you're not becoming more mindful of how this process is making you feel. So there's a lot that mindfulness can do, not only in our job search and in the workplace, but in our day-to-day. Okay, for the love of breathing. Okay, the power of our breath, you guys, is something that gives me chills. It's amazing, right? And it's incredible, and it's something that's easy and free, right? So we are going to do a little box breathing practice, but before we go into that, I just want to give you a little bit of content behind breathing, right? Close to 70% of people, 70% are not breathing properly. Think about that, right? So ask yourself, am I even aware of how to breathe properly, right? A lot of people shallow breathe. A lot of people hold their breath and they're not even realizing it. Other people are fast breathers, right? Not so often are we actually sitting there and saying, okay, you know what? I just want to feel my breath right now. What's going on? Right? Am I taking deep breaths? What's actually happening? Have you ever even asked yourself that? And that's okay if you haven't, right? But this is your chance to learn a little bit more how. So another little tidbit for you to think about is that the lungs inhale and exhale 20,000 times a day. 20,000 times a day. That's just insane. So we have a sympathetic nervous system and a parasympathetic nervous system, okay? Both super essential. And I won't go super deep into this, but I do think it's powerful to know when it comes to learning about our breath. So our sympathetic nervous system controls how we react to stress, right? So for example, I'm sure you all have heard this, but you're being chased by a bear, right? It's that fight, flight, or freeze, right? So that's essential. We have to survive, right? And then we have our parasympathetic nervous system. And this controls our rest and our digestion response, right? So it's keeping us calm, it's helping us relax, and especially after our sympathetic nervous system responds to a stressful situation, right? So both super, super essential. So when you are learning how to control your breath a little bit more, you can then actually communicate with these different nervous systems and tell them what to do. So wherever you are, sitting, standing, doesn't matter. Just want you to kind of become aware of your body. And if there's any tension or shrugging your shoulders, just relax. Okay. And you're just let your breath be natural and organic right now. What I want you to do is I want you to ask yourself right now, what is my breath doing? Right? Am I taking long, deep breaths? Am I taking short breaths? Am I holding my breath? Right? And we're going to do this breath exercise called box breathing, which maybe some of you have already done. It's one of my favorite ones. You can do it anywhere. You can do it where it doesn't matter at any time. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'll explain it first and we'll go into it. So we're going to inhale through our nose for a count of 4. And then, right, so we have this box, right? So we're going to go up one side, count to 4, inhale. We're going to come across, we're going to hold our breath for 4 counts. And if this doesn't feel right to you, you don't want to hold your breath, that's totally fine. I just ask that you think of a box as you inhale and exhale throughout the whole time, okay? Then as we come down the other side, we're going to exhale for a count of 5, right? So one more second, and I'll explain why. Then we're going to come across and we're going to hold our breath for 4 counts again. And that's 1 round. Okay, so we'll do probably 3 or 4 rounds. All right, so just shrug the shoulders up and back, just get a little relaxed. You can always close your eyes if that feels okay to you. Sometimes it's really helpful to get more in tune with ourselves. All right, so we'll inhale through the nose for a count of 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Hold it here. 4, 3, 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. Hold it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Good. Inhale again. 1, 3, 4. Hold it. 2, 1. Exhale for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold it here. And we're going to do 1 more round. Inhale for 4, 3, 2, 1. Hold. Exhale. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Last hold here. 1, 2, 3. All right. Let it go, you guys. Awesome. And if you continue to keep going, that's totally fine. Take a second. Take a second and just, how do you feel? Ask yourself. Right? There might be a little bit of a difference there. You feel a little calmer. Is there a little less tension somewhere? Right? Just becoming more mindful of what our breath can do. Okay, so I want to explain why we exhale for 1 more count. When you are inhaling for a certain count, let's just say 4, and you exhale for 1 or 2 counts more, you actually communicate to your nervous system to calm down. Right? So this is where it comes back to that parasympathetic nervous system. We're saying, hey, it's okay. We're safe. We're alive. We're healthy. We're here. Relax. Right? I mean, how simple is that? Taking 1 or 2 more counts in our exhale to communicate to our brains and our nervous system to just relax. I love that. I love that so much. One more little piece with the breath, so that is really powerful. If you ever have any tension or tightness in the body, which most of us do, right? If you do a breathing exercise such as this or another one, if you just think about that spot in your body, and let's take your shoulder, right? My right shoulder has a lot of tension sometimes. I'm going to breathe in, breathe out, go through my breathing exercise, and I'm going to just take a second to think about sending my breath into that area. That can be really powerful as you continue to practice. All right, so I offer that to you. Take a nice big exhale and let's continue. Hope you guys all enjoyed that. Okay, gratitude. Yay. This is one of my favorite things about mindfulness. I absolutely love practicing gratitude. This is where I want you to grab that piece of paper and pen or journal again. But I want you to ask yourself this. How often do you practice gratitude? Right? And this is a hypothetical question. You can answer for yourself. You can write it down. You can say, never. I never have. Sometimes, always. I don't make time for it. Right? There's no wrong answer here. Gratitude is one of the most powerful things to help change our brain, to help change the way we think, the way we talk. I have personal experience in it. And I will offer you guys some different ways that I implement gratitude in my day to day. But before we get into that, let's learn a little bit more about gratitude, right? What can gratitude do for us? The gratitude has shown to make us both happier and healthier, right? There's so much data, so much research out there as to what it can do for us. So a couple of the things that I really wanted to talk about today, what it can do for us. It can open the door to more relationships, right? And if you think about this in the workplace, right, that's beautiful, right? It can open up more doors when we're networking with people, when we're just trying to learn more about the roles that we're in, about our career path, right? Like if you are one that has an open door policy, you're going to have more opportunities that create themselves for you, right? Rather than the opposite. It can improve our physical health, right? There are so many different ways to practice gratitude. And not only are you going to feel more joy in your life, imagine what that's going to do to help you feel more confident in your physical health, right? It's going to give you motivation to want to move your body more and to want to just do things, more new things that you've never done before and you always wanted to. It can improve our psychological health, right? Mental health is such an important topic and is so imperative for us to be mindful of, right? So understanding what gratitude can do to change our mental health, to be more positive, to be more open, right? That says everything right there. It can enhance empathy and reduce aggression, right? There's that word empathy again, right? And reducing aggression, that when I think of this, I think of when we have triggering emotions, right? We want to react in certain situations. Well, if we can change the way that we think about things, right? For example, ugh, I have to wake up today, right? I don't want to wake up. I don't what? How about you roll over in your bed instead of saying that, say I get to wake up today, right? Or man, I don't want to do this workout, right? I don't feel like doing this workout. You could say, I have a strong body that wants to work out, right? All I'm doing is changing the way I'm saying things, right? And you know what? Even if you don't believe it right away, our brain will, right? The more you say something to our brain, the more that it will believe, okay? Helps people sleep better. Oh man, I tell you what, anything to help me sleep better, right? Because if you go to bed, what a lot of us do is we go to bed, we sit there, we stare at the ceiling, and everything that happened that day or everything that's stressing us out or making us anxious is just going like this in our minds. Oh my gosh, right? What if we tried to shut them, right? What if instead we took out a piece of paper and pen and just wrote down what we were grateful for that day, or just think about it. Simply just think about it, right? Think about how grateful you were to have a delicious cup of coffee first thing in the morning, or that you got to see an old friend of yours throughout the day, or that you met a deadline for a project that you were working on really hard on, right? Like, so just it, we have the control over what we think about, how we look at things, how we think things, right? We can choose gratitude over anxiety, over all these things that want to take over that just don't serve us. It can also improve our self-esteem. and increase mental strength. All right, I am grateful for, okay, I love this. So we are going to do a little gratitude journal practice. I'm going to offer you guys what that is, and then you can pause the video so you can give yourself some time. You can always come back to it, whatever feels good for you. Okay, so what I want you to do is I want you to jot in. I'm going to do this with you. I always, always, always do my practices that I teach with my students, with whoever. Okay, so at the top of your paper, and I know Lisa's doing it too, I am grateful for is what I want you to write. Okay, and I want you to number your page 1 through 10. Give yourself some space in between, because who knows, you might jot down a little bit more than you think. Okay. And when you pause the video, I want you to write down 10 things that you're grateful for. All right. And what I don't want you to do is overthink it. Right. It could be as simple as I'm grateful for the water that I have next to me and the clean water I can drink. Right. Something as simple as that. It could be for the clothes on your back. Right. It could be simple, simple things, or you can get more detail. It's totally up to you. What's beautiful about these practices, they are for you and you. All right. So mindfulness for the whole person. So what does this mean? And I reflected a lot on this, and I wanted to know what it meant to me, right? Before I went on and talked about it with other people. When you think about your support system, right? Family, friends, colleagues, supervisors, whoever they are, right? If you are not taking care of yourself, or you're feeling a little bit off one day, are you going to want to help others or support others? Right? How will others in your home feel or act if you are not your best self? Or how will coworkers feel if you are not your best self? Right? Think about that. We are human, right? So if you're like, oh, come on, Tori, I can't be my best self every day. Of course you can't, but you can strive for that, right? We are human, so we are allowed to have our off days, of course, right? We are allowed to feel our emotions, right? And encourage that, because the more we learn about our emotions, the more that we can learn about ourselves and help ourselves. Mindfulness steps in when we become aware of those off times or those negative emotions, and we ask ourselves how we want to handle it, right? How can we move forward in the best way possible that serves us at this time? And this is where you can take a few minutes to do a breathing exercise. This is where you can close your eyes and say 3 things you're grateful for real quick. Right? This is where you take a walk outside in nature, breathe in fresh air. Right? Nature can do so many amazing things for us. Or heck, if you work from home, go in your bedroom and let out a big scream. Right? So whatever helps you feel whole, right, is what we're talking about here. Whatever makes you feel whole, so then you can be there for others. And I always tell my support system, like, listen, I need to go do this for me so I can be there for you, right? So I don't take something out on you. So I don't offer my negative energy or negative reactions to those that don't deserve it. I need to go take a walk outside just by myself, breathe in that fresh air, calm down a little bit, become more in tune with where I'm at this moment, and then I will come back refreshed, right? Think about that. So ways to be mindful, right? You're probably all thinking like, okay, this is wonderful, but again, what are some other ways? So one of the ways that I practice gratitude and I'm mindful on a day-to-day basis. And I want to talk to you. I've been doing this for years now, and it's a non-negotiable in it for me. So when I wake up in the morning, before I even open my eyes, right, I sit there, I lie there, and I say to myself, okay, Tori, good morning. What are 3 things you're grateful for? And I don't overthink it. 3 things I'm grateful for right away, right? And what this does, it doesn't give me an opportunity to let any of those negative thoughts come in. Or if they do, I'm pushing them out. I'm saying, no, 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 this is my gratitude time. Okay. So I choose gratitude every day in the morning, even when I don't want to, because guys, I'm human too. I wake up and I say, oh, I don't want to say what I'm grateful for, but I'm going to. Right. Like I don't even let myself continue that thought. I just say it. And now it's second nature for me, right? It's so natural for me to wake up and say it. And it makes me smile, right? No matter what. Like, I challenge you to say 3 things you're grateful for and not smile. Right? It's pretty powerful stuff. So this list right here is a list that I have put together, just some things that you can do, you can implement for yourself when you want to become more mindful, right? Whatever that looks like for you. And I'm not saying you look at this and you do every little thing. No, 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 no. I'm saying you look at this list and you ask yourself, okay, what calls to me here? Right? What feels right to me? Or what is something, maybe there's something you've been thinking about doing. Establishing a morning routine, whatever that looks like for you, right? For me, I mean, I have 2 little kids. It's a little bit different, but I try to have a slow and quiet, whether that's with a warm cup of tea or coffee, whatever it is. I try to not be on my phone or have the TV on, right? Because that's what works for me. So if you want to establish a morning routine, I recommend that you write it down. Write it down what your ideal morning routine would be, right? And then ask yourself, okay, well, what's reality here, right? What do I want to implement now? And that's a great way to start with a morning routine. And the more and more you do it, the more and more it feel natural, but also giving yourself some grace too, right? Because if there's a day or two where you're rushing out the door or it's just not going to happen, that's okay, right? That's okay. The beautiful thing about mindfulness and all of these practices here is that they're always there, right? We can always come back to them. Meditating, right, is a great way to calm our mind, right? And not to shut off our mind necessarily, right? Our minds think, right? That's what they do. We have brains. But to help us create more space between our thoughts, right? To help us visualize more what we want life to look like or feel like. Right? Or just to simply give us a few minutes to breathe in stillness and quietness, right? Setting an intention for the day or the week ahead. This could be one word. This could be a saying, right? I love sticky notes. I write things down, stick them up on my wall, on my computer, so they are in my face, right? I can't forget about them. They're right there. I have no excuse, right? And it could be anything, right? It could be my intention today is to take a break from work, right? It's to step away from my computer and take a break. Choosing your happiness first. We talked a lot about choosing gratitude. You can also choose happiness, right? You can choose whatever feels right to you. To-do lists are great, especially for those of us that, want to stay organized. I love to write down, and it doesn't happen every morning, but a lot of the times, okay, here's my priority list for today, right? That can help organize and prioritize what we're going to do first, right? And just kind of help us feel a little bit more aware and in tune in the present moment. Staying open-minded, we talked a lot about that already. Brain breaks, these are great. So what I do in my schedule is I actually have scheduled time in my calendar every day where I have little bits where I take breaks. And those could be a lunch break. It could be a short break where I'm just doing some breathing or I step aside. And like I always have my yoga mat rolled out next to me, you guys. Like that's one thing that helps me move my body. I will take a break and I will do some yoga for a few minutes, right? That always helps me become refreshed. Movement kind of goes right into what I was just saying. So moving our body, I don't care if it's walking, running, stretching. If we're not moving our body, then our energy becomes stagnant, right? And that energy will, in that stagnation will turn into tension, into pain, and nothing that serves us, right? So if you're sitting at your desk, doing some stretches, we're going to go over some at the end, but just move your body, right? Especially if you're sitting at a desk all day. It behooves us to just get up and move our ligaments, move our joints. It can do so much. Increasing our water, watching what we eat, right? Eating things that nourish us, that heal us, right? Food is amazing. Food is medicine. Breath, we talked about. Rest, right? Rest and play are two that we're going to talk about. So resting when you need to, right? We live in a world where we are so go, 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 right? Go here, go there. What's on my to-do list? Where do I need to go next? What do I need to pick up? Like, what meeting do I have? Take a moment, right? And maybe you have to schedule rest breaks, right? Letting yourself go to bed early, right? It's so hard some days. And, you want to watch this show on Netflix and that show, and I get it. I struggle with the same things, but I don't think I have ever regretted a night where I went to bed early. I'm just saying, right? I never regretted it. And play. So we're going to get into play a little bit because I think play is super important. Woohoo, let's play. Okay. When you think of play, what do you think of, right? You probably think of what you're looking at in this photo. Kids playing, running around, jumping, right? Being themselves. But why do we only think about kids, right? Whoever told us that play was only for kids? Oh, you're an adult. You can't play. You have to be serious. You have to work. You have to go home. You got to cook dinner. Right? No. Maybe our society has influenced us to think this way, but it's not the case. We can play too. Think about it. When was the last time that you actually had fun? When was the last time? Right? You can. For me, I'm becoming more mindful of these things. Like, I still want to focus on this. That's actually one of my words for 2024 is fun. Have more fun, right? So what are the benefits of play? Relieve stress, right? All this is connected, right? You're going to get a lot of the same benefits. Improves brain function, stimulates the mind, and boosts creativity, improves relationships and connections to others. We've heard of all this before, right? Keeping us feeling young and energetic. Who wants to feel old and sticky, right? I don't. Like, I want to be young and energetic. I don't care what age you are. Give yourself permission to play. And all of these things will help you become better professionals in your career. But how can we incorporate play into our lives? There are so many ways, right? And, for me, I love music. I love going to concerts. I have so much fun at concerts, right? It could, there's comedy shows, there's dinner parties you can have, there's weekly dates you can go out on with yourself or your partner or your kids or whoever, right? There's indoor playgrounds that adults can go to. There's rage rooms now and axe throwing, and oh my gosh, the list goes on, right? But just maybe the issue is that you just don't carve the time out to even think about ways to incorporate play. Okay, so we're coming up to the end of our presentation. I cannot leave you without doing a little bit of yoga, as it is near and dear to my heart, and I love everything about it. So you can just listen, you can pause, you can do whatever you want. But if you want, I invite you to continue the presentation with me. We're going to do a little bit of stretching, a little bit of breathing, bring it all together, and then I'll let you guys go and have your day. Okay? All right, so yoga is for everyone. I don't care what anyone says. You have a body, you can do yoga, right? Okay, so I'm going to be standing, but you can be sitting. Doesn't matter, right? I'll guide you through. So what I want you to do is I want you to inhale your arms up to the sky. Reach through your fingertips And then exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Let your breath go. And then just relax on for a minute. Curl your shoulders up into your ears as you inhale. As you exhale, bring it down and back. And just do that a few times. Up, down, and back. And then go in the reverse direction. Connecting breath with movement. So continue your breathing. Good. Inhale again, arms up to the sky. Extend as much as you can. Expand your ribcage as you inhale, and then exhale. Let your arms fall heavily down by your side. Oh, shake them out. Then inhale, reach even bigger. Exhale, release. They should feel really heavy. Exhale. Let's do that one more time. Inhale, reach. Exhale and go. Good. So now we're going to come into a cat and cow. So you can do sitting down. Inhale, I want you to just open up your chest and squeeze your shoulder blades. So you're coming into a little bit of a different cat and cow. And then I want you to look up. So you're getting a nice stretch in your throat. And then as you exhale, I want you to, I'll turn to the side here. I want you to round your spine, bring your chin down to your chest. Let that go. But inhale, open. Exhale, cat pose. Inhale one more time, open your heart. And exhale. Good. Reach your right arm up to the sky. And exhale, come on up and then over. Kind of like you're going up and over a beach ball. Right? So you're getting a beautiful side stretch in your right body. And then you're not crouching or scrunching in the left side, but you're lifting and creating space there. Breathe. Spreading your fingertips and creating a nice line all the way through. Then come back to center. We'll go the other side. Inhale up. Then over. Continuing our breath. Back to center. And we'll go into some wrist stretches. So this is really great. I mean, we are driving, texting, typing. So our wrists, our fingers, they need it. So reach your right arm. It's a little hard to see, right? Reach your right arm, extend it out in front of you. Extending your fingertips. And then I want you very lightly to take your left hand and just put your fingertips back towards your face. You don't have to do too much here. You're going to feel a really, really amazing stretch in the inner part of your arm. And and then you're going to flip your fingertips to face the ground. And same thing. You're just going to take your left hand and put a little bit of pressure on your hand so your fingertips are now going towards your face. And you can do that on the other side as well. Good. Good. Amazing. Inhale your arms up to the sky for the last time. Exhale, open your mouth, let it go. Hands at heart center. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much for those of you that have joined me. I am so grateful to be here for you. These are some mindful goodies for you guys. If you want to take them, this is where I got some of my information. But I am very, very grateful to be here for you. This is our, oh, I think Lisa, is this you, babe?
Tori, that was wonderful. You had me at such peace. You had me at every turn. So much insightful information. Oh my goodness. And yes, I do participate in an every early morning gratitude journal entry exercise. I love sticky notes as you do. I had a glorious practice this morning and you just brought me right back to that peace and serenity. Thank you so much. Thank you to everyone that has joined us. As this is a recording, we encourage you to outreach us in career services. If you have any questions or if you need any clarification whatsoever, please remember that no question is too small. We're here for you. We look forward to connecting with you as part of your support network. You can certainly outreach us at cocecareer@snhu.edu or by calling 888-672-1458. If you're a campus student, please outreach at careerdevelopment@snhu.edu or by calling 603-645-9793. For our beloved SNHU staff, please outreach at internal career coaching at snhu.edu. You can access any opportunities on Handshake at https://joinhandshake.com/ or SNHU Connect is https://www.snhuconnect.com/. We appreciate you being here with us. Thank you so much.
Thank you all. Have a beautiful day.